Welcome everybody to today's webinar. We're going to talk about Cleome hassleriana, also known as the spider flower. It gets its name from its delicate long stamens resembling spider legs. But let me not. Let's leave all the facts of this species to the one who knows best. You know him by now, our colleague Ivan Posniakov. He just returned from a trip to Singapore, where he spent some time with other flower lovers in the dome of Gardens by the Bay, looking at the performance of some stunning genetics, and hopefully he was able to add some pictures of the great Cleome that were put on display in this presentation. So without any further ado, Ivan, floor is yours.
Thank you, Michael. And thank you everyone who is joining us today, who is really like the flowers, who really like to grow the flowers, who really like to receive the flowers as a gift, as a present. And anyone who joining us are welcomed here. And we start to talk about the Cleome. Yes. There are a few funny facts about the Cleome. Honestly, Cleome hassleriana mostly came from the America to Europe and to Southeast Asia, but just to let you know, the some of Cleomes is really natural from the Southeast Asia, like a Cleome rutidosperma. This is common, made to say the wheat or common plant from the Thailand and Southeast Asia. And another Cleome species, Cleome gynandra, is an edible plant. Is called African cabbage. It used specifically for the leaf production, and the leaf mostly used for the fried or steamed leaves used as a vegetable in Africa. And so Cleome is not only a ornamental plant, is also a very nice, useful plant. And by the way, the Cleome rutidosperma is not only the wheat, is the plant which able to recover, which able to help to recover the landscape, to recover the soils. It's made to say the one of the pioneer plants in the disturbed landscapes or disturbed soils. So the Cleome is very useful plant. It's very nice plant, and as Michael said, it's called spider plants because of the stamens shape. And by the way, gynandra, it's some kind of botanical humor. It's translated, I mean, the name gynandra or gynandra translated like transgender or men and women in one place, because the stamens make a special, they form the special structure close to the stalks of the flowers, and they form in the entire structure. And so that's why it's called the gynandra. It's made to say that it had the same at the same time the both sex in one place, the both organs in one place. So kind of funny things. And let's start to talk about Cleome. I will not stay too long time for to explain the Cleome portfolio, because we have only one series. It is Sparkler 2.0. You can find the information here in the Syngenta catalog in the page 37, and you can use, of course, QR code to go into the catalog pages. And of course, in this series we have not a few. Not a few separate varieties. We have already 5 separate varieties and 1 mix. And not only in the common catalog you can find information about the Cleome. Cleome, because it is a very nice landscaping crop. If you go by this QR code to the page 26, you can find information about the Cleome Sparkler 2.0 in the landscaping catalogs. And there you can find very nice pictures from the landscape where we use the Cleome, or our customer use the Cleome. And I would like to share, and I would like to inspire you with the Cleome vibrance with a few pictures later on in the next slides. Of course, Cleome is a brilliant crop for the landscapes, both for the small and for the very huge and very premium landscapes. And here in the picture, you can see examples of the real application of the Cleome in the landscape in the China. In the left side, in the right side, you can see the example of the Cleome application in the small garden, in, may to say, the medium size or small garden. And I would like to share the last minute update. Yesterday, I back from the Singapore, and there I able to see the Cleome in the application in the dome. This is a special construction. It's big. It's rather huge construction. It's called the dome in the Gardens by the Bay. It's kind of iconic place, and for the for the flower lovers, it's made to say a really iconic place in the world. And before we go to the that pictures, I would like to say there's some interesting thing about Cleome. Cleome is not only a landscape home. You're able to extend your pot plant portfolio with the Cleome. And here you can see the really nice shape of the Cleome, which you can offer to your customers. And so let's start to look at the pictures. Here I offered 3 pictures of the sparkler blush. There was not only the sparkler brush, there was also the sparkler rose in that area. And here you can see the 3 pictures from the dome. The grower arranged a specific celebration dedicated to Switzerland, and there you can see the special tower with the clocks, and this landscaping were arranged and were dedicated specifically, that landscapes were dedicated specifically for the Switzerland Greetings Day. And let's start to talk about the technical specific of the Cleome. What's the 5 crucial elements to find with the Cleome technical things? One is the light required for germination. Again, not many crops really needs to get light in a seedling stage, in a germination stage, and Cleome in the number of that crops, like a gerbera, for instance, and like some other crops. It's kind of exception. The most of the crops likes to be buried under the substrate level, but Cleome it's like to show the seeds to the light. Another thing, it's one tricky thing. Only thin layer of the substrate, only thin cover you need to apply for the seeds, and try to avoid to hide the seeds from the light. And day and night difference, it's also very, very crucial, and made to say that this is a key of germination, good germination for the Cleome, and this is a key this is a key factor how to receive the nice branch in the plant, even without the PGRs. And Cleome is really fatty crop. It's really likes to eat. It can be it's really hungry crop, and it's able to compare with in this type of the requirements, it's able to compare with sunflowers. So it really likes to get a lot of fertilizer, and provide the space for Cleome. Cleome is a good branching crop, but you need to provide a space to release the nice and the attractive habit of the Cleome, and you need to help the plants to reveal this kind of the branching habit. If you keep plants too close, the plants start to stretch and start to reduce the form in the axillary branching. So that's why please provide a space for Cleome. And let's start to talk about the germination stage. Let's start to talk from the first step of the Cleome technical secrets. And please don't forget to use this QR code or this link to visit our Syngenta Flower APAC YouTube channel, where you can find the video not only about Cleome, you can find a lot of technical videos, you can find a lot of video from the real landscape, real grower places, and where you can find some kind of insights from our growers. And please, you can share these links to your friends as well. And there you can find really interesting and really useful information about our portfolio, about our crops, and about the many technical things. And let's start to talk about the germination stage. How to sow Cleome. As I said, Cleome not need to be covered with a thick layer of substrate. It can be placed directly on the substrate or covered with a really thin layer of a substrate. And the light is required for germination. 128 or 288 cells trace is very applicable for the Cleome. One seed is absolutely enough to receive the nice young plants. And of course, as I said, Cleome needs to be covered, but only with the thin layers. Not apply too much perlite or vermiculite over the seeds. And light is really required for germination. So, but interesting thing, germination chamber is not really recommended for the Cleome. Later on, I will explain why. The second thing, the substrate feature, as because we talked about how to cover the seeds, we need to talk about the substrate as well. And here you can see the substrate is mostly applicable. This type of substrate is a peat, coco peat, or wood fiber peat. And please don't apply rice husk or any kind of the plant-derived compost for the Cleome, because Cleome quite sensitive to the pythium. And the pythium able to damage Cleome quite fast, even in the early stage. So that's why try to avoid not completely decomposed organic compounds, organic matter for the Cleome. And it would be beneficial to add any kind of inert agents to make a porousness, to bring the porousness in the substrate, like a perlite, sand, or vermiculite. And apply only thin layer of the covering material, like a perlite or vermiculite, or mixture of the perlite with the substrate, or a fine substrate. And here in the picture you can see the seeds mostly surrounded by the cover layer, but not covered by that. And let's talk about the temperature regime and the other condition during the germination stage. You need to be focused on to avoid decreasing of the germination. And I will later on in the next slide, I will explain one interesting thing about the Cleome germination. And let's start to talk about the substrate. Every time you apply the substrate, for the seedlings, I really recommend to apply different type of to the mix different type of substrate, like a 60% of the coco peat and 20% of the wood fiber. And of course, please add a perlite. The second example is a 40% of the peat and 30% of the coco peat, and 30% of the perlite. And the last one is a wood fiber combined with a coco peat, with a different combination with a when in the substrate the wood fiber will prevail here, and the perlite in a 20%. So perlite can be added in the different rate from 20 up to 30%. But again, never apply organic derived substrate with the particles and with the organic matter that not completely decomposed, because Cleome is really sensitive to the pythium, and pythium very easily can be transferred by this kind of type of substrate, which contains residuals of the plants. And let's start to talk about the germination condition. the one key thing or factor you need to be focused on is the temperature. Please look at this difference. Normally, in for the every crop, I provide only one temperature for the germination stage. Germination stage meaning from the time when you put the seeds on the substrate and up to it start to open and start to show the root and cotyledons. In this stage, normally I provided just only one substrate temperature, but for the Cleome, even at this stage, temperature should be alternate from the day up to the night. And please be focused in the daytime. Cleome requires really high temperature. It is extremely high. I never advise for other crops too high temperatures. It is really requires the warm, or maybe to say the hot temperature, in the range from the 26 up to 30 degrees. In this temperature range, Cleome will be absolutely comfortable during the daytime, but please provide lower temperature in the nighttime. With this kind of condition, with this kind of temperature condition, you will receive the better germination rate, up to 90%. If you provide a stable temperature, the germination rate can be dropped up to the 60%. So that's why I not recommend to apply the germination room for the in this stage, because normally in germination room there are stable temperature range provided, like 20 or 22 degrees during the day and night time, because the most of the crop requires a stable temperature during the germination. But Cleome is an exceptional crop. That's why I keep here exclamation sign to be focused on this and to keep your attention into this on this factor. And let's start to talk about other conditions. Is a substrate water and pH range should be in little bit acid, little acid side, 5.5, 5.9. And of course, not forget to provide a substrate in the seedling stage with a salt concentration as low as possible, and also not provide too saturated substrate. Saturated substrate level should be alternate between 5 and 4, between saturated and wet. Not provide a saturated substrate during the all the time. It should be alternated. And during this condition, germination will take something about 4 till 6 days, about 1 week. And let's start to talk about seedling production and seedling requirements. The temperature between day and night also should be alternated between quite hot temperature up to quite low in the nighttime. And here you can see again quite unusual temperature, like a 26 and 27. It is really recommended temperature. It's not made to say the alternative. It's not suboptimal. It's really optimal temperature that Cleome requires during the seedling stage. And this is really a convenient crop for us, because in many regions we have a quite high temperature, especially in the seedling stage. So that's why Cleome is very suitable, very useful crop, and very suitable for the tropical condition. And of course, in the nighttime, it's better to apply as low temperature as possible. And the 20 and 21 degrees centigrade is absolutely optimal temperature in the nighttime. And the light intensity is not quite high. It's already can be 35, close to 40 kilolux. So that's why it requires a little bit shading condition. And again, substrate level should be lower than the for other crops. It should be between the free medium stage up to medium dry stage. And I for some crops and for Cleome, I really advise to let the substrate dry between the irrigation. So you need to wait when the substrate became the light brown color to receive the brown color, and after that you're able to provide next watering. And let's start to talk about the preparation, about the fertigation tip, because fertigation is really uh, crucial, also crucial condition or crucial item in the Cleome technical tips. As I said, Cleome is really like to get a lot of fertilizer. And here you can see also very unusual, very unusual numbers. It's 125 up to 175. Not every crop requires this high concentration of nitrogen, even in the ready stage. But Cleome requires this high concentration already in the seedling stage. And later on, I will explain, you have to apply as soon as Cleome just start to open true leaves. And how much you need to apply NPK for the Cleome. If you use NPK range like 85-18 or 53-15, again with the low phosphorus, you need to add into the water 0.7 or 1.2 gram per liter. So it is already quite a high concentration. Some of the crops, like for instance, impatiens, even not need to receive too high concentration of the fertilizer, but Cleome, even in seedling stage, already requires too many fertilizer. And here you can see the difference between the plants which unproperly fertigated and properly fertigated. And once again, optimal EC in the water already can be 1.5, 2.0 in the seedling stage. And optimal EC in the substrate can be 0.9 up to 1.3. And substrate, of course, substrate and water level should be stable, 5.5, 5.9. Cleome is a crop which like a little bit acid substrate, like petunias, like zinnias, like catranthus. So the Cleome can be combined with that crop, but please provide bit higher concentration of fertilizer for Cleome. And in the left picture, you can see the Cleome start to a little to show a little aberration on the leaves. Some of the tissue is reduced in the leaf plate, and this came because of the low EC or fresh water application. So never apply fresh water for the Cleome. Since you start to apply fertilizer, it is really need to be applied since the second week already, or already in the first week. So when the plants start to open the first true leaf, it start to be provided with a fertilizer. And in the right picture, of course, you can see the healthy plant. It hasn't any kind of aberrations on the tissue aberrations on the leaf, and it looks quite colored well. And of course, start to fit the gate with the second week already, and never apply again clean water. And here I would like to show an example of the NPK application. Even since first week, you can apply fertilizer, and you can gradually increase the fertilizer from 0.5 up to 1.3 till to the end of the first week. And in the second week, you already must apply normal concentration of the fertilizer. Why you need to apply the fertilizer on the first week? As I said, Cleome need to receive the fertilizer when it is already just start to show the first true leaves. So as because it normally, if you apply a high concentration of fertilizer right the first time, it can bring some kind of stress to the plant. So that's why I advise to apply fertilizer and increase that gradually from the first watering up to the next and next again to increase on the range between the previous watering up to the next watering should be something like 0.3, not higher. And please don't forget to apply the calcium and magnesium every second week. because the calcium is required for the to form the normal tissue and to provide sturdy stems and strong stems for the Cleome, and to provide more branching and more strong plants, which able to easily survive in the landscaping. And but at the same time, please not apply calcium too frequently, because calcium able to increase the pH in the substrate, but Cleome likes quite acid substrate pH level. And let's start to talk about the transplanting, how to prepare to transplanting, how to choose a substrate. Happy we, because during the mature stage, Cleome not show the specific requirements to the substrate. It's possible to use a different type of substrates, even the rice husk, even the natural soil, and the compost as well. The mature plants is not so sensitive to the different kind of root diseases like rhizoctonia or pythium, but honestly, Cleome is not really sensitive to the rhizoctonia. And the different condition, of course, pH should be a little bit acid, 5.5, 5.9, and please provide hygienic condition. Not forget to apply the biological chemicals, which will help you to avoid any kind of problem with the roots. And and of course, please check the good aeration of the substrate. And another thing, please check the sodium content, sodium concentration in the substrate. Cleome doesn't like to receive too much sodium, and the high sodium concentration can damage the plants and damage the root of the Cleome. So that's why please keep attention to the sodium concentration. And I advise again to use a mixture of a substrate to avoid any kind of excess of elements or any kind of mistake with the pH. It's better to apply the mixture 50-50, or as I explained formerly, in a different rate of the type of substrate. And of course, you can again start to use this type of substrate like a rice husk or natural soil derived substrate. And the particle size already can be larger, in the rate between the 5 till 2 centimeters, till half of centimeter up to 2 centimeters. And of course, don't forget to apply the inert agents, to make a good aeration condition to the root, because Cleome has very thin root, which goes in a different. It able to occupy different small how to say it. Small voids in the substrate. It is very easily to damage by overwatering. So that's why provide good aeration condition, good porousness of the substrate for Cleome. And of course, don't forget about your friends. Don't forget about the supplemental microorganism like the Bacillus subtilis or like a trichoderma. It will help you to avoid any kind of problem in the with the Cleome roots. And what is the transplanting time? What is a better transplanting condition? Normally, 3-5 leaves. The stage with the 3-5 leaves, it's absolutely applicable for the transplanting stage, as a transplanting stage. And normally, from the sowing time, from the sowing moment up to the ready time, it takes about 4-5 weeks. In general, already in a 4-week stage, Cleome able to bring in average 4 leaves in one seedlings. And what's a pot type, and how to transplant, and which type of the pot, and which type of the containers need to be used after transplanting. Here you can see the Cleome transplanted into the bigger pots, but the container application depends on the final application of the Cleome. If you would like to use the Cleome as a landscaping crop, you need to apply different type of the plant production, different type of the scheduling. And later on, I will explain how to use these different type of the crop scheduling. And if you would like to use the Cleome as a pot plant, please provide already you can transplant already into the finishing pot, and it is possible to use different type of pot from 1 liter up to 8 liters. And the main rules how to avoid any kind of the problem with the Cleome and to provide nice shape of the plant to the Cleome is the sentence that I will explain in the next slide. And here I would like to little bit stop on this table. This table let you know how many plants you need to provide for the different type of pots and how many weeks it takes to develop nice plants. And here you can see the Cleome is made to say that a quite long crop. After transplanting, it takes something like 9 up to 12 weeks. And of course, here the abbreviation, it means the plant per pot, and transplant your seedlings in the time, the transplant Cleome seedlings in the time to avoid uh, shading of the plant by each other. And this sentence will help you to recall why it's so critical. And here you can see the nice distance between the plants, and this sentence will help you to avoid how to say, to remember the Cleome requires to get a nice space. Let the plants to talk, but not don't let them touch. It means plants shouldn't touch, the plant leaves shouldn't touch each other during the vegetation time. If you see the plant start to shade in each other, you need to make a spacing to arrange a spacing, so to apply the spacing for the plants to provide nice light condition, especially if you would like to use a nice shape of the pot plants. And what is the general condition after transplanting? What is the requirements of the Cleome? The day temperature should be quite rather high. Again, it's normal 24 up to 26 is a critical temperature for many crops, but absolutely normal for the Cleome. And the night temperature should be even little bit lower. So Cleome likes to receive a big difference between day and night temperature. In this kind of condition, you will receive the strong plants, sturdy plants, and with a nice branching. And of course, light intensity in the ready stage can be increased up to the 40-60 kilolux. And keep the substrate not too wet. Avoid to overwatering Cleome in any kind of the temperature regime. And substrate watering level should be alternate between the medium and medium dry, between 2 and 3. And let's start to talk about the fertigation tips, because again, Cleome is a crop which likes to receive a lot of fertilizer, like sunflowers, like mums. So Cleome is a really fatty crop. It's really hungry crop. And here I enlarge the font of the this nitrogen concentration. Here you can see it already must receive up to 250 ppm of nitrogen. It's really high concentration. It's like it's truly like for the mums. And of course, don't use too much phosphorus, because phosphorus able to block many types of the microelements. So that's why please try to avoid too much phosphorus. And here you can see with the NPK rate like 15,515 or 18,519 or 18,520, you need to apply something about 1.3 up to 1.7 gram per liter. It's quite high concentration. And sometimes the concentration even can be higher, up to 2 gram per liter. And water EC should be already 2.2, 2.5. So it means if you dissolve the fertilizer and the measure EC should be within this level, 2.2, 2.5, even up to the 3. And optimal EC level in the substrate, 2.3, 2.8. Again, why I would like to recall you, why I provide two type of EC, one in the water second in the substrate. In the water, you need to control yourself how many fertilizer you give into the plant in this watering. And in the substrate, with the substrate, you see, you will be able to check how your plant uptake this, how plant thankful for your fertilizer. If you receive so if you receive too high EC in the substrate, it means plant not able to absorb all the fertilizer. And if you will find the EC it's too low, like 2.0 or 1.5, it means plant still hungry. It still need to receive much more fertilizer than you gave to by the watering. And please don't forget, never apply clean water for the Cleome. And of course, pH range also should be measured in the water and in the substrate. It should be in the range 5.5, 5.9. And in this stage, Cleome not need to receive too much potassium. The stage when the plant still don't show the flower bud on the top. And since the plant already start to show the flower bud, is the next stage. It should receive different range between nitrogen and potassium, because potassium will help plant to form the flower buds and form the strong flowers for the next blooming. And of course, don't forget to apply every 2 weeks calcium and magnesium, because normally calcium is absent in the NPK, I mean in the completely compound fertilizer, in NPK fertilizer. And let's start to talk about how to change the fertigation when the plant start to show the flowers. As because the Cleome is very fast, it's very strongly blooming crops. It produce a lot of flowers, and the flowers coming one by one very fast. You need to provide also the quite high concentration and of the fertilizer. And as because flower to be formed needs to receive a lot of potassium, because it must control the water concentration inside the cells, in the cytoplasm and in the vacuoles. It's need to the potassium help the plants to save the water inside the plants. And as because of that, plant need to receive a lot of calcium. And here you can see this in this stage, the plants already show the flowers in the top, show the flower buds in the top. And of course, don't use too much phosphorus, and you already need to change NPK concentration from the vegetative to generative stage. And the generative concentration of NPK should looks like this: 15, 5, 30, again low phosphorus, 10, 3, 25, or 15, 5, 40, or similar. Here you can see the few examples, and you can find the similar or close to that concentration NPK in your market, in your fertilizer market. And please again not provide too much phosphorus, and give the fertilizer with every watering with a concentration again 2.2, 2.5. And optimal EC level in the substrate should be the same like in the previous vegetative stage. And pH range again 5.5, 5.9. Please don't forget to measure pH during the vegetation time. It will help you to avoid any kind of problem with chlorosis, with improper development of the plant, and with any kind of the deficiency of different type of elements, and especially micro elements. And of course, don't forget to apply the calcium every 2 weeks. And as because Cleome, the fertigation is a really crucial things for Cleome, I would like to recall how to prepare. You must use, please be focused on that, and please pay a lot of attention on that. You must to make these routine things with every watering. Let's start to prepare the water solution to the watering. And we're starting with taking the water from the tap or from the wheel. And as a start, you need to fill your vessels where you will dissolve the fertilizer. Again, every watering you need to apply the fertilizer, especially for the crop like a Cleome, and especially in a final stage. Let's fill the tank on the half of volume. Next stage, dissolve the proper amount of the fertilizer in the water, rinse that, mix that with the water, and fill the tank up to the full volume. And rinse that again to let the fertilizer be dissolved well in the water. And the next step, never apply this water solution directly to the plant. Start to check before you give the solution to the plant. Start to check the EC and pH. And if EC and pH is okay, this is nice. But if it is not okay, if you see the EC level it's too low, again, recommended EC level for the Cleome 2.2 up to 2.5. And if you see the EC level is something like 1.7, you need to apply a bit more fertilizer and check pH and EC again. And if you see the concentration is too high, something like you want to prepare 2.5, but you see it is already 2.7, you need to add a little bit water to dissolve that fertilizer. And please check pH and EC again. And only after EC and pH in the proper rate, you can apply to the plant. Please don't forget about this normal routine work when you watering your plants, and never apply clean water. I not really advise to apply clean water if you even how to say it not able to dissolve the fertilizer too fast. Of course, in the critical in a critical condition, if you see the plant already start to fade it, it is better to apply the water as soon as possible. But try to avoid this kind of situation and apply the water only with the fertilizer. And of course, taste, it means why I explaining that, and to remember this kind of routine, to not forget to check this EC and pH. Please repeat to yourself this sentence: taste the soup before you offer the soup to your guest. And let's start to talk about the crop scheduling. As I said, Cleome able to be applied as a landscaping crop and as a pot crop, as a made to say the patio crop in the big containers. The first application is for the landscaping. For instance, you can start to sow the seeds into the non-cells trays, into the normal trays. Within 2 weeks, when it starts to germinate, you need to transplant on the second week into the 50 or 25 cells trays. And after that, after additional 5 weeks, you must to transplant. You can transplant already that plants directly to the landscaping. And after the vegetation in the landscaping, you will receive the blooming crops. The second type, this is just an example, just to imagine what's the timing, what's the time line you need to use during your scheduling. The second one is also example for the landscaping application. You can sow already directly in 288 cell trays. And after the 4 week, when the plants start to develop third or fourth leaves, you need to transplant in the small pots. In the small pots, plant takes about 4 weeks to develop the nice plant, which will be ready to be transplanted into the landscaping. And after the next 4 weeks, you will receive blooming plants in the landscape. Why I focusing in this scheduling? During that transplanting, you will provide nice space for the plants, and you will receive nice branching plant, which will play in the landscape properly. And for the pot application, if you would like to apply Cleome as a pot plant, you need to sow directly into the bit larger bit larger trays, like 128 cell trays. And after 5 weeks, you're able to transplant directly into the ready pots. And within another 10, 12 weeks, you will receive the blooming plants. Sometimes, especially in the long day condition, the vegetation time can be reduced up to 9 or 10 weeks. So, and this type of the table is kind of the present to you. And here I summarize information how to grow the crop. And please keep in mind that this kind of the scheduling is mostly uh, applicable for the pot plant production. And here you can find any kind of the uh, condition which required by Cleome. And of course, please not forget these arrows show approximately when you need to apply the calcium. Is this kind of table you can use as an example to form to create your own scheduling. And again, Cleome is not really sensitive to many diseases. As I said, it is really sensitive to pythium in the seedling stage, but as a ready plant, Cleome is quite strong crop. But sometimes it can face the problem with the powdery mildew, even in the especially in the condition when the sun and quite dry condition changed by the rainy days. In this kind of condition, Cleome can find a problem with powdery mildew. So that's why I apply the in this table I provide chemicals to help protect the plants against the powdery mildew as well. And please don't forget about two critical things when you apply any kind of chemicals. One thing is rotate the chemicals during the application, during the crop production time, and check phytotoxicity, especially when you use a new chemical or new for the crop or new for your region. uh, it is necessary to avoid any kind of plant stress after the chemical application and any kind of plant damage after the chemical application. So please take 5-10 plants to check the phytotoxicity, apply the chemicals, check the plant performance after one night. If the plant not damaged by that chemicals, you're able to apply that chemicals to the other plants in your growing condition. And here I would like to stop. I would like to finish my presentation. I hope these slides. I hope these slides will help you to create a nice Cleome, because this is really nice crop, and I hope you're encouraged by the nice pictures in the beginning of this presentation. And of course, I wish you a nice season, nice plant production time, and thank you for your attention. And Michael, can we check the Q&A box if we have some kind of question?
Yes, thank you, Ivan. Apparently, your story was very clear. I don't see any questions in the Q&A at the moment. So thank you very much. Well, in time, under 15 minutes. And for all attendees, feel free to reach out to Ivan, me, or one of our colleagues if you happen to have any challenges or questions with the production of your nice Cleome production. You can always find us using the website syngentaflowers.com. Make sure that you're in the APAC region, which should be automatically the case when you are dialing in or accessing our website from an APAC country. But always make sure that you see syngentaflowers.com/APAC and then go to contact us to find the contact details and make use of our product search and technical support tools that we have available on our website. Thank you very much, and wishing you all a very nice day.
Thank you. Bye.